Welcome to WinSouls TV. This is your host, Jeff Thomas. And we are going to talk about our tongue today, our mouth today. I'll start off with a story. I do a lot of prison ministry, or at least I have in the past. And we've gotten involved with, we were baking cookies for the prison or the inmates at the time. And we got into, I guess, leisure conversation, and we were laughing and joking, and there were a few ministers that were, of course, volunteering along with me, and they were cursing. Now, when I approached them and let them know, hey, there's life and death in the power of our tongue, and there are things that we should guard our tongue. They apologized, but the one thing that I saw in common between all of them was the fact that they would come to me and they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry that offended you. I'm sorry that offended you. I'm sorry that offended you." And I thought to myself, it's not about me. What does the word have this? What does the word say about these things? The only reason that it's an issue is because it's in the word. Otherwise, you could cuss however much you wanted to, and you could say things contradictory to the word. If life wasn't in the power of the tongue. But since it is, we need to keep a guard on our lips because of that. And let's jump into the word. So in Psalms 141:3, the word says this, and this is David praying, and he is talking about the importance of guarding his tongue. He asked the Lord to even help him with this. He said, "Set a guard, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep watch at the door of my lips. Incline my heart not to submit or to consent to any evil thing, or to be occupied in deeds of wickedness with men who work iniquity. And let me not eat of their dainties." Now that was Psalms 141:3-4. Now, what is the importance there? At first, he talks about his mouth, the door of his mouth, Lord, help me guard the door of my mouth. But then he turns around and he talks about his heart. Why? Because the mouth, for what cometh out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You see, so whatever is coming out of your mouth originates from the heart. And the things that we partake in with our mouth literally have an effect on our heart if they didn't already reside there. There is a direct relationship to our mouth and our soul, which is our heart. Here's another verse. Proverbs 21:23. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from trouble. And of course, we have the famous one. There is life and death in the power of the tongue. And here is another one. Proverbs 6:12. A worthless person, a wicked man, is he who goes about with a perverse, meaning contrary or wayward, mouth. Now, what does that mean? The word tells us that we will recognize them by their fruits. Basically, he's talking about false prophets there, right? But I don't think that he's talking about them there, but he's talking about a person that's wayward, a person that literally is walking somewhat walking the Christian path, but literally is speaking contradictory to that path. You see? And so if it is that you are not speaking life, then you must be speaking death. He didn't say that there was any gray area there. And if there is no gray area, then it's either one or the other. I'm of the belief that gray area literally has to be grown because you don't like what the word has to say. So therefore, there is a little bit of ambiguity there and a little free reign for that individual to put stuff in the word and kind of twist it to their liking. But let's be clear here. There's a phrase, walk the walk and talk the talk, or talk the talk and walk the walk. If you are walking the walk, then that implies that you are also talking the talk, right? Because walking this walk or running this race has everything to do with guarding your tongue as well. Not just with cussing, but speaking in direct contradiction to what this word has to say. Now, a lot of people, even Christians, will argue that there was a time period where, hey, cuss words or how we use them are, they during that specific time period, they weren't cuss words. Like people could, call a donkey an ass and, this, that, and the other. Well, yes, a donkey is an ass. And the Bible even says that, right? But check this out. When you are calling an individual that word, guess what? Now you are using that in an insulting and demeaning way. You are using that word to debilitate somebody else. And now, not only that, but you are speaking death because you're cursing that individual. You're using it now as an insult. So yes, the original context of that word and a female dog or whatever cuss words, the original context was not to hurt an individual, but the way that society and this world is using it, guess what? It is. It's used to debilitate people. It's used to hurt people. It's used to bring people down and take them away from the life that they are living, right? If you're not speaking life, then you're speaking death. And if you're speaking death, then you're taking away life. So let's get out there and speak life. Be blessed.